And thank you so much for joining me for a quick Technique Wednesday where I try and bring you a video that is around 5 minutes long so I can give you some inspiration and remind you of techniques or cards that you may not have done for a while or may have never seen. I have a lovely one for using up some of those beautiful pattern papers you might have lying around, or any prints that you've done, any backgrounds you've created. This is a paper pad that is my absolute favorite. It's stunning and I keep using it and using it. I love it so much. I even bought it in 12 by 12. I'm going to use this one tonight because I love the bright, bold colors of it. Now, you can do this in two different ways. You can use alphabet dies, or if you've got word dies, you could use those as well. That's what I'm going to use tonight is word dies, but I do have the alphabet dies here. In case you have some of those in your collection, you can easily work with those. Now I cut my panel to be the exact same size as my card base, so whatever card you're working with, just cut your piece of paper to be that same size and stick that onto your card. Then I'm going to take a panel that is the exact same size as my card base, and I'm going to trim off 1 centimeter off 2 of the edges, or 1/4 of an inch off 2 of those edges, so I've got a nice little border around the card that showcases that paper. Now if you don't have a word die, you can take your letter dies, if you've got some of them, and you could spell out your word and then sort of tape them together using some low tack tape and run them through your big shot. Obviously I was doing celebrate here, but the E would have to be repeated 3 times. So I very quickly thought, nah, I can't be bothered with that. I'm just going to grab my word dies and use them because they're all stuck together in one nice little word. And then I can run that through my big shot in one go and I don't have to worry about fiddling around with all the little dies. So apologies if you haven't got a word die. I found this much easier, but you can do the same thing using your letters if you've got some letter dies. Now the first thing I'm going to do for this first card in this first version is to add some foam to the back, and I did my best to put the foam on all those little straggly bits that kind of poke down from the top to make sure that it all stood up nicely and nothing kind of caved in on itself. So that whole top panel is now popped up with some foam. And then I'm going to take my inner bits that kind of fall out of my die, I'm going to put them to the side. I'm using some removable adhesive to stick down that thank you with just a little bit of that removable adhesive just to kind of hold it in place so I can kind of piece back together the inner bits of the thank you. So obviously I'm going to save that thank you cutout and use it on another card for another project. But for now it makes such a great little temporary hold for being able to stick those inner bits back in, because now it resembles thank you a lot better than if I just left them all out. So I did do my best to pop those up with some foam and stick the foam onto the back of those little fiddly bits. Thankfully there weren't too many of them. And to kind of finish off my card, I wanted to add a little sub-sentiment onto the front of it to go with the thank you, just to kind of break up that background a little bit more. So I went with "For Your Kindness," and I'm stamping that down on a little scrap strip bit of white cardstock, and then I am going to use some double-sided sticky adhesive and just kind of put this sticky adhesive along the back, the whole back of it, and then that way when I stick it down on my card it will stick to all the raised pieces only, and then the sticky will obviously still be sticky on the back, but it's not touching anything, so it's fine. And then to finish off this card I am using some holeless iridescent sequins that I am just applying to the front of the card, and that kind of finishes off this card. So for the next card that we're going to do, if you've got a bit more time and a bit more supplies, we can make it into a shaker card really nice and easily, and you can still see that beautiful background paper. So same thing as before, I stuck a panel to my card base, and I'm going to keep all those little pieces safe and sound. I'm actually decided to leave them on my die cut platform, and then that way I can pull them off later. And for my shaker card, I got this awesome big bundle of projector film from my mother-in-law. She had this, I think, from her teaching days, so I've got a whole box of it, and it's absolutely perfect for shaker cards. You can pick this stuff up from like a lot of charity shops, or like the Goodwill Value Village. I bet you will find some in there, and this is perfect for shaker cards. So all I'm doing here is applying adhesive to the back of my panel, and then adding little bits of liquid adhesive on the tiny little strips in between the words. And then I can go ahead and stick down my transparent film over the top of it, give it a nice firm rub, and that's all stuck down. And then again, exact same as before, I'm going to stick down my words, or just lie them down in there, and then I can come in and add some liquid glue in all those little crevices that I'm going to fill back in with my die cut pieces. Now my little stick that I'm using here is just a chopstick with some blue tack on the end. It works perfect for picking up stuff like this. It works great for picking up gems as well, and it is virtually free. You probably have a chopstick in your drawer and probably have a bit of blue tack lying around your house somewhere. So I've got that clear film on the back of my die cut words, And then I've added some foam tape to the back of that, and again I've tried to fill in a lot of the edge gaps because the middle bit we're going to fill with shaker bits, so we don't have to worry about all the fiddly little middle bits. I actually found that doing the shaker card was much easier than the first card that we did because you don't have to worry about those middle lines and those middle bits. Now I'm adding another piece of that clear panel to the back just so that when I flip this over, or so that I can flip this over and stick it onto my base. Because we've got that border, I didn't want any of that shaker stuff going everywhere, and I can't handle having to line up where your panel will go and kind of guess, so I just add an extra piece of the clear backing to it, and that makes it nice and easy to stick down. So off screen I went ahead and added some Nuvo drops in kind of matching colors to the front of that card just to finish that one off. So these are 2 quick and easy cards that you can do that will really show off those beautiful papers that you might have in your stash and use fairly minimal supplies. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I look forward to seeing you again on Saturday for some Saturday night crafting. I'm also coming to you on Monday with a bonus video where I am collaborating with Lou Collins, and we are going to bring you some easy Father's Day cards that you can whip up in time for Father's Day. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great week. I'll see you on Saturday. Bye.